failed disciple, a supposed fisher of men, and now a failed fisherman. I told the others we might as well go back to shore. They didn't argue. I wondered whether they had the same thoughts going through their minds. Probably. Probably not. Did it matter? Did anything matter? Then, just before dawn, there's a call from someone standing on the beach. Have you caught any fish? Anger and despair hit me like a tidal wave. Throw your nets out on the right-hand side of the boat. You'll get some. James and John cast their nets back out into the sea. I was going to protest. Then the boat lurched sideways. The nets were already full. John looked at me in the half-light, his face beaming. It's the Lord. John was right. Jesus was back. And I needed to see him. I needed to explain. Grabbing my tunic, I dived into the water, swimming like a madman towards the shore. I staggered out of the water, breathless. The others not too far behind. There was a fire with some fish and bread. The smell intoxicating as my mouth started to water. The stranger looked at me from underneath his hood. In the dawn of light, it was difficult to tell if it was Jesus. I hesitated, not really knowing what to do as the others joined us on the beach. Bring some of the fish you just caught. Quickly, I helped drag in the catch. There were 153 large fish, and yet incredibly the nets hadn't torn.
Yeah.
Come and eat some breakfast, he said. We ate in silence, the same question going through our minds. Could this really be the master? Deep down, we knew it was, but we were all too afraid to ask. After breakfast, Jesus takes me aside and asks me straight, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Peter, do you love me? Each time I say, yes, but Jesus keeps on asking, and every time it's like a knife plunging into my soul. Although the master's voice is gentle, with no hint of malice or anger. After the 3rd time, I could take no more. Lord, I said, you know everything. You know that I love you. Jesus looks me straight in my eyes and says, feed my sheep. I felt so inadequate. Me? How could I possibly? I was a failure. I was a betrayer. I glanced over at John, knowing he was one of the master's favorites. What about him, Lord? Surely he'd be better. I was a betrayer. Jesus put his hands over my shoulders. Peter, feed my sheep. And I knew in that instant that I was no longer a fisherman. I was a shepherd.
Amen.
His shepherd.
Amen.
Amen.